Okay guys, so in this part of the tutorial we'll be going over the join us section, which is pretty easy to be honest, and it would require for you to have a Mailchimp account. So if you don't have one, please sign up for Mailchimp because they're free, and it's just basically a great platform to use if you are, you know, sending out mailing lists to your clients or trying to gain subscribers. So in this part of the tutorial we'll be going over this section, and we will obviously be going over how to set all of this section, or all of the Mailchimp, how to integrate the Mailchimp section into Headway. So I'm getting all tongue-tied here. Let's not start how we mean to go on. So let's head over to Headway, and as usual you want to create a new wrapper, and we're going to call this wrapper get the app. Get the app. And this wrapper does not need to be full width. Okay. And what you want to do first of all is create a custom code block. Custom code. And do you remember I told you that in order for us to set up hyperlinks, so let me give you an example. When we click on features, it scrolls down to features, and how we got that was by adding some codes to the features area, right? So I've got a wrapper here that has no alias to it at all. I'm gonna have to sort that out, but never mind. So in this features block, when I go to config, I have the title here, and I've got like a little bit of HTML here which I'm going to copy. Now this week it was brought to my attention that putting it in the actual block title would not be a good idea for SEO. So instead what we're going to do is we're just going to put it in a custom code block. So I'm going to open up the custom code block, paste that in there, and change this to get the app. And I'm going to call this get the app link. I'm going to copy that. Next I want to add the text for this section here, so we're going to add a text block. Text, and I'm going to call it get the app text, and in here we're just going to copy and paste all this information here. So we got join us, and then we got the text. Okay, so let's move that down. The join us, we want that as a H2, and this part we want that as a H3. So let's send all of that, and there we go. The next part we need is our Mailchimp block. So I've already installed the Mailchimp block, or we've already installed the Mailchimp plugin. Now we just need to draw in the block and choose the Mailchimp plugin down here. Now I'm going to make this block a little bit smaller because it's sort of centered like that really. And when we set up the Mailchimp block for the first time, it will ask us for a URL. So what we need to do is go into Mailchimp and create a new list. So I'm going to call this Cyclop, and I'm going to put in my email address, and the default name will be the design creative, and we have to write a reminder of why people how they got on the list. So I'm going to just use a random one here. You're receiving this email because you opted in on our site, and I am going to save that. So that's cool. Once that's saved, we go over to sign up forms and just click on general forms, and this will give you a URL here which you want to copy, and I'm going to open up a new window. I'm going to paste in that URL, and it will bring me this form. Now I need to copy and paste, or copy this URL which shows here. So I'm going to press copy, and I'm going to head over to Mailchimp, and I'm going to paste that in there. And you should get a notification over here to say that it's all good, which it is. So the form layout, do we want it horizontal or vertical? We want it horizontal. And the field width, let's have a look. It's approximately 498 pixels across. So I'm going to put 498 in there. Field spacing, so it's saying the spacing between each field. Currently there is no spacing between the button and the email address, so I'm going to put in 0. And I'm going to get rid of the heading here. And if you click in the form description, there should be some text. We can get rid of that too. And I'm going to get rid of the name field and the surname field. We don't need that. If we go back to the mockup, here it says enter your email address. Again, we can just paste that in there. And instead of subscribe, we want it to say notify me. We can paste that in there and press save. Now, if we scroll down and just refresh the page, we should have the join us, the text, and our form field. Now the form field here seems a bit wide, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to make it 460, press save and see whether that looks better. Make it a little bit smaller, 440, press save. Okay, so now as you can see the button is right next to the form field. Right, next we have to add the social media icons, and again I'm going to be using Font Awesome for this, but if you remember further earlier on we had these icons here. Funny enough, I totally forgot to add a hover effect because these are buttons, right? So we should really try to change that. Maybe we'll do that a bit later once we go over everything and refine our design. So what I want to do is I want to head over to the amazing compatibility section, which is here. I'm going to duplicate this block. Duplicate the block. I'm going to drag this down here. I'm just going to make a bit of room for it. There we go. And I'm going to open up the block options here. And where it's got Apple, Android and Windows, I'm going to change Apple to Facebook, Android to Twitter, Windows to LinkedIn. And instead of amazing, we're going to call this app. Cool. So let's name these now. So Mailchimp will be get the app Mailchimp, and this will be get the app icons. And let's press save and scroll down and refresh. Okay, so we have our icons here, we have our Mailchimp form and everything else. Now I'm just going to put on the resizer for a minute because I want to show you something. Let's go to tablet. Let me scroll down really quickly. Blah 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 blah. This section here, I think I'm going to have to sort this out. I probably want this section to be stretched, so I'll go over that in a minute. But as you can see on tablet, the form is looking weird now. Okay, it's meant to be a horizontal form, but now it's kind of changed into a vertical form, but it's just not good because we have set the field width there already. So what we can do is we can add another Mailchimp form, and what we can say is that when the Mailchimp form is viewed on a tablet or a desktop, it will have a horizontal look, but if it's on a tablet or a mobile, then it will be a vertical look. And how we can do that is by adding another Mailchimp block. So I'm going to duplicate this block, move it down, and for the first block we're going to right click, open the block options, go to responsive control, and where it says 1024, sorry about that, we want to say at 1024, which is the maximum width, we want to make sure we hide this block. So anything above 1024 it's gonna show, but when it gets to 1024 it's gonna hide. And so let's just press save and see that in action. So let's refresh. So in normal view we have the two Mailchimp blocks, and if we go to tablet we've now only got one. Okay, now that one is, which one did we just change? Okay, so then we got the copy here. So this copy is the one that we want it to do a vertical. We want to have a vertical look to it, and I'm going to bring down the field width to 300, but to be honest it doesn't really matter because we're going to deal with that a bit later. So let's press save, and if I refresh the block now, oops, you can see here that the field width is smaller and now it's vertical. But let's clean it up a bit. So let's give it a little bit of spacing, and let's put a responsive control on it. So first of all we need to hide it. So when it goes to 1024, and instead of saying maximum width we want it to say the minimum width, we want to hide this block. We're going to add another breakpoint, and we're going to say at 1024 pixels I want to attempt to center the block items. Now I'm not quite sure if the Mailchimp block will actually center everything, but we'll see whether that works or not. So let's press save and come back over here, refresh, and it has, it centered it. And if we make it wider, you're going to see that it moves to the other Mailchimp block. So at desktop view we have this, at tablet view we have this, and as it gets smaller and smaller it does what we need it to do. Okay, so we can add like different different CSS for the tablet and the phone. So we can say the form, like this field width, instead of it being 300 pixels we can put it at 100%, and that would be cool. And I guess what we can also do is stretch the blocks for mobile as well. But I think that would make more sense if we do that. Let me show you. Let me go here. Is it tablet view here? Yeah. So as you can see in the site, speaking of Cyclop, or the testimonial section, we have the mobile phone, but this doesn't seem to look so great because it's just kind of checked off to the side. If we right click on that wrapper open wrapper options, go to responsive. This is 768. So we can say at 1024 we want to stretch this block for mobile. Okay, let's refresh, and now it's stretched right across. And I think we can say attempt to center items as well. That would make it look a bit better. Let's go here, refresh again. The text doesn't center, and I think the reason why is because if we open up the block options here and we go to below breakpoint text, we need to, where is the breakpoint? We can change the settings here to, instead of 768, I'm going to change it to 770 and press save. Refresh. Yeah, that's better. That's better. So now we've got everything basically in place in the joiner section. What I think we can do now is head over to the let me just see. I'm just trying to figure out whether I need to do the same. So for this part of the wrapper, the join us wrapper, we want to press the open wrapper options, responsive, and when it gets to 768 we want to stretch the blocks for mobile and attempt to center items for that as well. Let's press save. You're probably not going to see any difference because everything is kind of centered anyway. Let's refresh. So that's fine. So let's go into design view now. And again, we're going to copy and paste a lot of styles here. So let's quickly scroll down. For instance, the join us, it's going to copy the same as this. So edit, Control and C to copy. Scroll down. Control and V to paste. And let me just zoom in here because I want to style the wrapper for this. So I'm going to right click and I want to edit for this layout. Okay. Where it says background, I want to take the background out and change that to white. Okay. And now what I want to do is for the actual input, I'm going to right click, edit, edit for this layout, and I'm going to edit in live CSS. I'm going to copy this section here and just above where it says media queries, I'm going to add another comment and choose join us. I'm going to paste that in, and the field width I think is, oops, I think it's 55 pixels. I'm sure it is. Sorry, not the width, the height. Naughty girl. And see, there's a bit of padding in there as well, so I need to get rid of some of that padding. So I'm going to put padding 0. Actually, padding Where is that padding coming from? Okay, so padding 0 pixels and then 5 pixels. I think it might be coming from the wrap. I'm not sure. Okay. Something seems to have been fixed somehow. So with the text, let's change the text here. Again, edit for this layout. So I want to do the same styling for both of the Mailchimp blocks. So for fonts, I want to change that to 22. And for the button, let's change the background color to that pink. Oops, it's all going wrong now. Let's copy it, paste that in there. That's fine. Let's change the color of the button. Actually, let me make sure that I do that for all of them. So let's change that there. And the color, we want that to be white. And the size, we want that to be 22. There's a bit of padding there, so we can get rid of that padding by moving this down to maybe 20. No, 15. Okay, 10 seems to do it. And the button size needs to be the same as the needs to be the same height. So let's copy this and copy this. Needs to be the same height, you see. So let's press save. What you will notice is that there are borders as well on here, so it doesn't quite look like it fits together very well. So we need to get rid of the let's move back here. We need to make sure that this border on yeah, we have to make sure that all the inputs have a border of this color. So let's get this color again and select edit for this layout, borders, color, and choose that color. Cool. Now for this particular input, we want to make sure that we take the right border off, so then it works and it kind of fits together with the button. So here we're going to choose here we go, I'm going to choose the input, edit this instance, and the border, make sure we customize that so it goes to 0. And the corners, we want to make sure that we take these corners off as well, so they're just straight. And the other ones, they could be rounded, so these ones are rounded and these ones are straight. The notify me button, again, we need to make sure we edit that instance. and the corners, we want to make sure that the left corners are right in there. And I also think, I'm not sure if this has a border on it or not, but I'm going to put a border all round. Actually, I don't think I need a border. So let's press 0. Oops. Let me have a look. So we have notify me, and I think we need a bit of padding actually to this button, and we may have to make the field a little bit smaller. So if we right click, open block options, we can maybe make this field a little bit smaller, and the button we can maybe add some padding like 15 on either side, and press save. Let's see, go to desktop and refresh. Okay, so that's much better. Scroll down, and as you can see, when it gets to tablet, it gets to a smaller field, and the notify me button is on the bottom. I was going to make this field wider, but I actually think it looks okay like this. It doesn't look bad at all. Okay, so now let's head over to the get the app icons. So let's scroll up. If I clear the cache here and refresh, hopefully it will look a lot better. There we go. I didn't press get the app. Okay, so far so good. When we press on the get the app button, it takes us straight to where we need to go. It could go down further, but unfortunately, because we don't have enough space, once we add the footer, it will give it enough space, so then this section should move further up, like what you see on screenshots. So it seems that all the buttons work fine. So really, I've got no need to scroll for days. I can literally just press that and get to where I need to go. So in the let's see, in the amazing compatibility section, I want to mimic these buttons. So what I will do is I'm going to have a look in the CSS, and here I've got amazing compatibility here, and I can copy the icons, scroll down. I'm just going to put icons here and paste that, and I'm going to put Mailchimp here. That's fine. So I'm going to change the amazing to app. And I'm going to put a background color of black. And text align center. Let's make sure that we also center the text here. Okay, so let's have a look at the mock-up. into the website, and I think we can add a little bit more spacing between the icons and this section here. So let's edit the icon, add a bit of margin, maybe 30 will do. And we also need to add a hover effect on here as well. So let's go to Open Live CSS, scroll down, and where it says app, I'm going to do, let's scroll in a little bit, or zooming, I'm going to put in .app a hover. Actually, I think it's that. Let's see what happens. Let's do a test. So background color pink. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it changes the background color. So I want it to change to this color here. Let's copy that and paste that in there. So now it changes to that color. And I'm going to copy this, scroll up, and do the same for amazing. I'm not quite sure whether that would work the same way, but let's see, because they look a bit different. So let me zoom out, scroll. Doesn't look too bad, except I don't like that border. So let's get the border out. Border 1 pixel solid. Oops, and we just make it that color. There we go. If we took the border out, then it looks like it's moving, you see, because you've literally just kind of shrunk it by 1 pixel. So we'll keep the pixel in, and it would just look like it's been, like nothing's happened apart from the background changing. So that's cool. Right, we can probably also do something about this video button as well. So let's do go video button, hover, background color, this one, and the where are we? Here we are. We just copy all of that and paste that in there. That's cool. Anywhere else that needs extra hover attention, show yourself. Okay, I think that's fine actually. I think that's fine, yeah. So, it's been 33 minutes already. I think, let me just save this and let's see what it looks like already. Let's go to mobile, scroll down. Okay, so as you can see on mobile, the the input area is just too big. It's just too big for it. Let's go even smaller. So one way we can combat that, I guess, is number one, take out the extra padding that is there. Not this one. Let's make this a bit smaller as well. So let me just make this a little bit smaller, not that much, just so then we can see this here. So So if I edit this instance, I can take out the padding number 1, and I can add a media query. So let me go to the CSS here, and where it says media only screen and width, I'm going to copy this line here, make sure I close it, and I'm going to change this to 400 pixels, and I'm going to select the input, make sure I close this, and press edit in live CSS, so then it brings up the block. I'm going to copy that and paste that within the brackets. I'm going to make sure I put the width 100%. So let's press save, go back here and refresh, and now you can see it fits in there perfectly. Okay, I could have done that like for any of the other widths, but I think it just looks okay if it's small here. I wouldn't want this 100% of the width of a tablet. And let's see, on an iPad, I don't think it will look as attractive, so I think that looks fine how it is. Scroll down. Get the app. Yeah, that looks fine. That looks fine. So thank you. I'm sorry if I sounded a bit edgy, getting some of my words mixed up. But thank you. We've only got one more part. Well, actually, I'm going to make another 2 more parts because I want to kind of go through everything and make sure that we clean up everything, because not everything is obviously perfect on here. So I just want to make sure that everything is perfect, the alignment is perfect, the text is kind of, you know, everything is running uniform. So in the next tutorial, we're going to be going over the footer, and then after that we'll be just going over everything and making sure that everything works and everything fits and everything is nice. So thank you for staying tuned. I will see you on the other side.